Okay, so in this video, I'll show you how to edit your stop motion videos. So what you want to do is open Premiere Pro. So type in Premiere in your search bar and open it. This will take you to this screen that looks like this. So what you want to hit is New Project, give it a name, so stop motion, and then hit Create. Now you will see a screen that looks kind of like this. At the bottom right, you should just see Skip, so we'll hit Skip, and that will take you to this screen. At the top right here, where it says Workspace, make sure that you're on Essentials. And if you are, then it's time to kind of import all of our images. So from your phones, you should all have your images on your somewhere on your computer. Make sure you right-click, sort by name, because the name contains the time information, and so your images will actually be in order. And press Ctrl A, that selects all of them, and then you can just drag them down here, and you'll see that your mouse changes from like a little stop sign to copy, and then let go. So now you have all of your images here. And here, let's talk about kind of what is on the screen. So down here, if you click on any of these times, that will move your scrubber around, so you can preview your video. You can also zoom in by, so this thing right here, that moves you left to right. But if you click on the right hand side and bring it to the left, you will zoom in. I will zoom out so I see all of my images here for you guys, because you should have a lot of images. You might have to zoom out a lot. Then at the top right here, that's where we can add effects and all those things. And then here, this is your preview. Obviously, below your preview, you have the play button, which really is play and stop, the only two important buttons I would say at this point. But if you play your video, you'll see that it moves very slowly, kind of like a slideshow. So what you want to do is you want to actually speed these up. So what I will do is I will move my mouse here, and I will click on this gray, and I'll just hit Ctrl A, and that should select all of these images. Then you just need to right click on one of them, as long as they're all selected, and then hit Speed/Duration. And now make sure you enable this ripple editing, so make sure that's checked. And here for duration is 0.3, and then this 4 seconds will be 0. Hit OK, and now you'll see all of your images go very small, but we can zoom in, and so now this is your animation. The reason why we chose 0.3 is because our target kind of speed for this, for all of these images, is 12 frames per second, or we want 12 images play in 1 second. So we're very close. Really what we have here is 10 frames per second, but that's okay. That's close enough to 12. Anyway, so cool. So now we have this, we have our little animation. Now it's time to add some effects. So on your Teams, you should have a folder that has all of these little effects and speech bubbles. So I'll just add a speech bubble here. So you just click, hold, drag it, and drag it above your images. So something like this. And say I want the speech bubble to appear right here. So on this image right here, I want it to appear, so I move it to the left. Right, because the speech bubble now only appears when my scrubber is on top of it. So it appears right here. But the speech bubble keeps appearing, it stays. So I need to kind of shorten it. So if I move my mouse to the very right hand side here, you will get this little arrow pointing left, and I'll click, hold, drag to the left. I can zoom in. But again, I only want the speech bubble to appear just for this one frame. So I'll just bring it there. Okay, now I can move the speech bubble. For that, I select the speech bubble down here. And here, under my effects controls, I should see this motion. And I can now move this left and right. So I can click on this number, click, hold, and drag my mouse left, right. That will bring it left and right, and then I can do the same thing for this number. Click, move my mouse left and right. That will move that speech bubble up and down. So I added my speech bubble. Now I want to add text into my little speech bubble. So I will hit the type tool, and I will create a rectangle on top of the speech bubble. And then for some reason, right now for me it doesn't work. Normally I should be able to double click and start typing. but right now it doesn't work. So what I can do is I can go to text, double click on where it says empty, and I can say whatever I want to say. So hello, but I will say ow. And I want to move this text so it's exactly in the middle. So I'll click on this little selection tool, click and drag it in there. But I cannot see it, so I need to change a few things about it. So I will double click on this thing, on this text, and then I will select the text down here, and I should see appearance. And I can change the color. I can also change the font size. And I'll just adjust it right there. Okay, but just like before, this ow stays until this frame goes away. So I just need to shorten it. So I'll move my mouse here until I get the little red arrow pointing left and bring it in. Okay, so this is what I have. But for my movie, what I want is when the cup gets here, I want to stop. So I want this frame to be longer. And then I want everything else to resume. So what I will do, because I want this frame, this image to stop, is I will right click it and I will say speed and duration, make sure this is still enabled. And now the question is, how long do I want it to stop for? So maybe I want it to stop for 1 second. So I'll put 1 second right there and I'll just say 0, 0 and I hit OK. So now when you play your movie, it stops and then goes, it continues. And because it stopped there, I also want to increase this text. So I want to say ow, and I want to increase the text bubble so it sticks around longer. Okay, so that's kind of good. Now just to add a little bit more story to this, and because in your assignment you will have to do the same, so we'll have to add some VFX. And the only VFX we know is how to do it through GIFs. So I have a GIF here, my hit animation, so I just move the GIF in here. You'll see that it's blue. So this is my GIF animation. It's quite small, so I'll actually resize it. So with it selected, go to Effects, Control, Scale. You can bump up the scale a little bit so I can see it. So again, click, hold, drag left and right. Okay, I will add this GIF right here. So let me move this too. So as soon as the thing stops, I want this GIF to play as if the cup is hitting the remote. So I'll move it into position. So that's kind of what I have. And then I want my cup to say ow. So I move this left and right, right? I don't want it to say ow right away. I don't want it to be like ow. Usually we have a delay for our brains to process the pain. So it will say ow, and then it will keep going. But I'll just cut off right here. I don't want the speech bubble to stay there. So I'll just cut off this right there. So it stops, the speech bubble goes away as soon as it starts moving. So this is my movie that I have now. Okay. And again, you can slow down this GIF if you don't want it to play super fast. Right click it, speed, duration, and now it will enable you to change the speed by percentages. So maybe you want it to be half the speed, so you say 50%, and then hit OK. So that goes a little bit slower. But then you'll notice that down here you have a gap. So for that you can just click, hold, and drag it to the right. Now for the audio, or if you want music in this, you can just download it on the internet. I provided you links to some copyright-free music that you can actually download. But I do want some sound effects that you will make yourself. So for a hit effect right here, I want you to do it by yourself, create it through your phone, just like you did with the stickman animation. And you'll just drag it in here. So I don't have an example of a sound effect, but I just found like an MP3 file on my computer here. So the way you will add your sound in here is find it, click and drag it, and you'll see the sound effect. And again, here you see the little waves when the sound actually happens. You can move it into position. But you see right here, I have a bunch of empty space that I don't maybe want. I want the sound effect just this part, so I have to split it. So we'll click on this eraser, and then I will move my mouse where I want to cut, which is right here. I'll left click, and that creates a cut. And then let's just say I just want this piece right here. I'll cut again, go back to my selection tool, and I'll delete what I don't want. So click on this right part, hit delete on your keyboard, or you can also just right click and hit clear. And now I can move it into position. Okay, but obviously this sound effect is way too long, but I just wanted to show you the basics of that. So I will delete it. Now the only thing that remains is an end screen. So we want a credit and we want a title page. So I'll do the title page first. We essentially want a bunch of empty space here on the left. We don't want the movie to play on top of our title page. So I'll press Ctrl A to select everything and move things to the right. So I have some space here. So now I'll just get my type tool and I'll create a box. It looks like nothing is created, but it actually did create it. It just created it on track number 5. So I just have to move my mouse to the right and click, hold, drag up. So now you see it here. So now I can double click this and I can say Starbucks movie. This is my Starbucks movie, but I can't see it because it's black font on black background. So I go to here where it's layer 5, double click it, click on my Starbucks movie, scroll down, appearance, just make it white. And obviously I can play around with the font as well, font size. And then I'll just move it to the middle. And I don't want it to play throughout the whole thing. And if you don't want it up here, it's kind of hard to see up here, you can just click, hold, drag it down, and then bring it down. I can also drag down the GIF. As long as I'm not dragging it on top of something, then it's fine. So I have my title screen, my little movie, and then what I can do at the end here is I can select my title, Control C, Control V, that pastes it right here. So that created this second one right here. Double click it, the end, Starbucks movie, the end, move it to the center. I don't want to play for that long, maybe just 1 second. And then I want the credits. So I copy it again, paste it again. And I can have the credits. When you finish your full thing, you will head to export at the top left here. You will give it a file name. For location, we'll click on it and then just go to your desktop and then hit save. Then under video, we don't want to match source because depending on the camera you took your photos with, it might be too big. Like this is essentially 4K. So what we will do is we will uncheck this frame size, and instead of custom, we will just say full HD. This should say entire source, and this should say scale to fit. And then hit export. And when that finishes, you should see your video on your computer. The only thing that I want to add is if like your GIF here is blurry like mine is, that is because we had to rescale our GIF, right? Our original GIF was this small. And so to fix the blurriness, we have to keep this scale at 100, which means that we have to scale our GIF in Piskel. So open your GIF in Piskel and then export it, but resize it to 1900, just like in the video for your Piskel animation, where you resized your original GIF and then move that new GIF in here. So yeah, hopefully this video helps. Good luck.